share with all of us. I remember one of the times I had the teenagers in the studio. One of them actually said that when our parents talk, we listen, but we just want to tell them that we're watching them. And so they're watching you more than listening to you. The things you do lets them see that, oh, in as much as mommy, daddy, my guardian, auntie, uncle, teacher is saying this, they are doing this. And it means that's what they value and that's what they prize. And so pay attention to your attention because they are paying attention to your attention. Good morning. And once again, we're live on Joy 99.7 FM. And this is Home Affairs. No matter how blue I feel, right? Saturday just, brings me alive because I get to do this with you and we get to share those family lessons that help us build our home. So I am very excited. Last week we started a conversation. Okay, I met with a young woman who has become a friend, Juliana Amakplofia, and she is the founder, executive director. In fact, let me put all the accolades on her, team lead and everything for Girls Excellence Movement. In short, GEM. So she's GEM Juliana. She is into this wonderful advocacy and empowering young girls in secondary schools so they can realize their full potentials. And they embarked on a research for that matter. It took about 2 years or so to finish, and then I happened to be at the launch. The findings of that research, they were revealing, let me just say, very revealing, very informative, and it would be one that would cause you to wake up and start doing something in your little corner. And I thought that, look, for the next couple of weeks, we will sit down and go into the reports. It's nothing academic. Last week, if you listened into Home Affairs, we talked about it. On top of, the abuse young girls face, and if you like, in general, children face, is the domestic ones, the ones they face at home. And it turns out that mothers are the people who actually inflict these forms of abuse on their children, insulting them, hitting them, making them feel like they are worthless. And we did understand that, look, no mother would give birth to their children and just decide that I just want to embark on an abuse spree for my child. Sometimes it's out of frustration, it's out of, economic hardship, it's out of neglect. We also learned that most of them are single women, and so they're very frustrated. And so the least thing you do, instead of probably trying to listen to you and correct you in love, they just end up pouring all their frustrations on you. And by the time they're done, you have damaged this little soul that is growing. And the irony of it is that after all that, you expect him or her to go to school and perform and be at their academic best. But the child is damaged. They go to school and all they're doing is sulking at the pain that you have caused them. How do they excel? And they don't excel they come back for more beatings. So it becomes a vicious cycle for that child. We said we were going to continue today, and we are here. What's even interesting about today is that, so by the time you finish doing all of these to the child and he or she leaves for school, especially the girls, they get to school and you're expecting that, look, that becomes a haven, a place where you will study, a place where you'll have friends to interact with, and a place where you will smile, and then maybe before you come back home to all the torture. But there also is another form of abuse. In the school, you're looking at all the harassment the children go through. You're looking at the bullying they go through. And it turns out that the first people they interact with, which are their friends and their schoolmates, are the people who carry on this form of abuse on them. They bully them, they harass them. And if your friends are doing this to you, your schoolmates are doing this to you, then you want to probably run to the teacher and go and report to the teacher and say that, oh, sir or madam, especially sirs, this is what is happening to me. They also turn out to be the second people who are doing these to the girl child especially. So where is her haven? Where is her hiding place? Home? School? The very people who are supposed to be taking care of you and interacting with you are abusing you. And then you are expected to still have that sound mind, study, pass your exams, and become somebody. Listen, I hear people say that, oh, there are too many people doing things for girls, but the reality is that the girl is being vilified in so many ways, and we cannot emphasize this enough. It cannot be overemphasized. We will continue to talk about it until we all make the reforms we need to make. I am passionate. I have 3 girls, 16, and the twins are 14. So they are really in this bracket. And so I am very passionate. And I have a 12-year-old son. And yes, does he abuse people in school? I guess sometimes we have conversations and he joins people in, teasing somebody here and there. And this person may go home crying. So how are we raising our boys to be able to make this place safe enough, habitable enough for the girls? We're putting all the pressure on the girls. At the end of the day, when they grow up a little, you expect them to go and get married to a man. This man that you and I have not even bothered to raise. And then they go and live with them, and the cycle continues for a woman. It's pathetic. And these are going to be the lines of our conversation this morning. Home Affairs is brought to us by Amasha Partners Limited and Eye Care. Kale Charcoal toothpaste for white teeth and fresh breath all day long. This is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, happy smile. And Onga Mama's Helping Hand, Ilili. Vital cooking oil, you decide, a life of goodness. So, I'd like to say a very good morning to, my guest right now. Juliana Amakplofia, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Juliana, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. And good morning to the listeners.
Great. And we have, let me say a very big thank you to Nicolina who joined us last week. Nicolina, good morning. I know you're listening to us or watching us. Thank you very much for all the support you offer us. And there were things that we talked about at the end of the show, and she has promised to be there to support and help some of these young girls who are in dire need of such support. So, Nicolina, always grateful to you for being a big sister to me. Then last week, Dr. Peter Pate Anti joined us on the show. He is the Executive Director, Institute for Education Studies, IFEST. Doc, good morning, and thank you for joining us once again.
Good morning.
Great.
You're welcome. And good morning to your listeners and viewers.
Great. The insights you shared with us last week, thank you for them. And I know we're going to get even more today. And then taking Nicolina's place today is Mr. Samuel Cobson. He is a teacher in one of the secondary schools, and he falls into the male brackets that we are talking about. So we're excited to have you here, Samuel.
Thank you.
Great. Is that okay if I call you Samuel, or I should do Mr. Cobson?
Oh, no. I would even prefer Sammy.
That's great.
Good morning to all the listeners and viewers.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I want us to, let me quickly share some of the stats on the report with you. Doc will take us, will give us, a bit more details into that. Now, we're talking about, girls who responded to bullying. And in that research, you would find out that 38% of the people who bullied the girls in school were boys. I mean, their schoolmates, and then on to their friends. And then in their home, their brothers also do. And then you will find the teacher somewhere in there. The neighbors are in there. The fathers are in there, and cousins are in there. So family, teachers, school, and home, everybody together is bullying this young girl. Now, and some of the responses, okay, are heartbreaking. These are not things that have been forged or falsified. No, they're handwritten stuff that you will see. And it's so heartbreaking that somebody says that I am a girl with reddish hair and I'm mostly stigmatized by my classmates and friends. My saddest experience was when we were learning about genetics and my friend said I am not a normal human being. And this child is 16. She goes to school every day knowing that she will be bullied, knowing that she will be told she's not normal, and yet the best is expected of her. That's my biggest worry. This one's 16 also. I am always being teased by my schoolmates because my uniform is torn and my parents are dead. How does she survive this? Who even understands? I'm sure the teachers know. I'm sure even the friends know. But you make this child feel even worse than she already is feeling every single day. She has torn uniforms. She probably has caregivers who are not taking very good care of her or don't even have it to provide. But I am still striving to go to school and study. And this is my situation. Then, a teacher who always discourages me and always threatens me that she will make sure that they dismiss me and also looks for problems for me in school. These are some of the things they face. Now, the ones on the, when you go to sexual assault, okay, you have friends making up to 24% of the people who do these to their girls. Then you have family friends. Again, schoolmates are there. You have teachers scoring as much as 10%, on this. And then strangers. Then even if it is 0.1%, but it is 2% for fathers, your own child, and some of the accounts are there. Let me quickly share a few with you. I cannot tell you everything because it is my father. He sleeps with me before giving me what I need for school every time. I let him have his way because I cannot fight him anymore. This one says he promised to help me and my mother and I was happy because we don't have. When I went to his place, he wanted to have sex with me. When I refused, he forced me, slept with me and by force. After that, he didn't even give me the help. And some of these things, we talked about them last week. Economic conditions will make some of these girls go in search of support somewhere and they are taken advantage of. Let me start with you, Doc. You, like I said the other time, you broke this thing down and analyzed it so well. Now we are on to the school and the schoolmates who bully these girls. And I know some boys get bullied in school as well. And then you have the sexual assault also coming from friends, schoolmates, teachers, fathers, and all. Please give us a bit more insights into this.
Good morning once again to your listeners and viewers. I personally think that the school issue is very serious. It's serious for me because what we do normally in our educational institutions is to build the mental capacity of the students mostly, and then we shape the person's behavior, and then we help him or her to develop his skills, what we call the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. Now, most of in our educational institutions at the secondary school level, students spend almost like 8 months in school, and that is if the student is in the boarding house. And we know that most of our kids are in the boarding house as compared to those those who are day students. So they are spending like almost more than half of their year in school, and that is why we feel that, or it is technically said that the school is a safe haven for the students. Apart from that, the people in the school, I mean the authorities in the school, teachers, other school personnel, authorities, are supposed to be in what we call a position of trust. So when you take your ward to school, what you are normally expecting is that that teacher would take very good care of the child because they have been trained professionally to do that. And that's why our parents are so much okay to just send us to school. And then sometimes they don't even call, but they believe that we are being taken care of and we are in safe hands. So if it ever happens that those who have been professionally trained, those who knows the reason why we are in school are those who turn out to abuse the kids, then it becomes very serious. So if you look at the report, we technically decided to group the abuses and see how the various perpetrators are contributing to the abuse. And the top two were the friends and schoolmates who, out of the 5 abuses that we identify, they were part of 4 of the abuses. So out of the 5, 4 of those abuses were carried by friends and schoolmates. And then 3 of those abuses were carried by teachers, and then 3 of those abuses were carried by teachers. And that's for us is very problematic, because if you put them together, then it means that the teachers and then the friends and schoolmates are contributing more to the various forms of abuses. And we are dealing with abuses like bullying, harassment, verbal assault, sexual assault, and then physical assault. Now, sexual assault and harassment, when you put it together, we are having like more than 70% of the students complaining about that. And these 2 assaults are technically taken by or carried out by the students' friends and mates, and then the teachers. And for me, it is very revealing, and we need to take a critical look at that, because these assaults affect the mental capacity of the child. And if you read other research reports, it tells you that they are the highest form of emotional abuses. And emotional abuses, if someone inflicts physical injury on you, of course it's not right, but you'll be able to recover from it, because the pain will be there. The next time the pain will go. But then if you go through emotional abuses,
you can't even express it.
Stays with you for the rest of your life, and most students are not able to recover. And that is what the students said they are going through. They are going through a lot of sexual harassment, bullying, and all those things that translates into emotional abuses. And for most of them, although they have gone through counseling with them and other groups, it would or it might stay with them for the rest of their lives. And that affects their academic life, that affects their total development. And at the end of the day, these students will not be able to get what they really wanted to achieve when they entered the school compound.
And I was saying that for the emotional abuse, sometimes you are even unable to express it. You just feel this deep pain inside of you, and you don't even know how to say it. And sometimes, right, because it is not something physical that people can see, even when you say it, I've heard a lot of people, when they talk about the fact that they are going through some depressive phases, you can hear friends tell you that uchimuya ode, because they don't know what you're dealing with. Oh, you like behaving like a baby, uchimuya ode, but they cannot even express it, let alone these girls. And you know the painful bit? So it's your schoolmate, it's your friend, it's your teacher, and you're already having issues with mommy at home and all the things, so you can't even talk to them as well. The friends that you may end up talking to are also the ones abusing you. The teacher, the same. And Doc is saying that that amounts to about 70% of all of these. Okay, put that aside. And then you end up probably meeting a stranger, and because you're looking sad and they want to take advantage of you, they ask you questions. So what's wrong with you? How are you? And as if they are caring, and then they also end up taking advantage of you. So my question again is, where is the haven? where do they run to? It is a very, very, very pathetic situation that our girls, find themselves in school. And we all have to rise up and do something about it. Let me come to you, Samuel.
Yeah.
You are a teacher. Tell me, why is this so prevalent?
I also find it very difficult to understand teachers' action when it comes to the abuses. You know, girls who come close to you as a teacher or an instructor when they have issues. Some may come from their various home, maybe bullying from the house, from their friends. So they see you, the teacher, as where they can run to. But, when you look at the profession of a teacher, apart from you instructing the person, teaching the person what he should do, you are also the mentor. So you need to mentor the student. So students always see you as someone they can run to anytime they have issues. But whereas issues of abuses are coming in, now girls don't know who to talk to. So that is where you see them being quiet in class, performance not being good. The challenges are some teachers doesn't feel for the girl child, because when any time you have a feeling for a child, you are not going to maltreat the child. That is one thing. When you look at teachers who force girls to have sex with, who abuse girls, when you look at their background, they have almost in a way also gone through such situations.
You mean the male teachers?
The male teachers.
They have been abused?
Abused. So they see it as a normal thing.
Oh dear.
Some also follow friends to do that. Because my friend is doing it, let me also get involved. And it's not helping the girl child when it comes to education in terms of need. I think as a teacher, you need not to take advantage of a girl. Rather, you have to encourage the girl child, irrespective of whatever role you can play in bringing up such a child.
That's another point, that because you probably have gone through some form of abuse, and like, oh yeah, you've been abused one way or the other and you survived, so they can also abuse you and survive. And I think that some of them just see the girls as objects. I think some of them just, especially when you talked about the fact that they have no feelings for them. By this feeling, I'm sure you're talking about empathy.
Yes.
Exactly. So they just end up seeing them as objects.
Yes.
That they are vulnerable. You can use them and then, go on. And the culture of silence continues. They can't even talk about it. Juliana. It's very sad, It's very sad. But you have been on the field. You have dealt with these young people. Tell me deeply, what are some of the things they tell you out of trust, and what form of help are they seeking?
Out of trust, they tell you a lot and beg you not to tell anyone.
Oh.
And sometimes before we share, we convince them that it's for their good. We need to create advocacy and awareness for other girls to be protected.
Especially when they're not putting their names and faces to it.
Exactly. And I want to take it from this angle where we don't hardly look at that side, where harassment, bullying, and abuse pushes some of these girls into other vices that as parents and as a society we abhor.
Yeah.
So some of these girls have been bullied into drug abuse. Some of these girls have been bullied into promiscuity where they've ended up being pregnant. And there's this story a girl shared with me. She's 15. She's in SS1. She shares a story of how her stepfather is constantly abusing her. She tells the mom. The mom says, shut up, you want to destroy my marriage.
As in sexually abusing her?
Yes. So she tells me, Auntie Julie, I don't even know how to look at my mother because I don't know what is in it for her. At a point, she left home and started sleeping around. In her words, I quote her, she says, I prefer to sleep with a boyfriend than to be there and be used by my stepfather. At the time we met her, she was pregnant. She was 2 months pregnant in school at 15. And she says, I prefer this to being at home and being bullied and mommy is doing nothing about it.
Jesus.
It's sad because they are not safe at home. They are not safe in school. That's why we call it sheltered. Yet exposed to the dangers we are sheltering them from is within. They are exposed to it within. The help they seek, they will tell you, 1, talk to parents to have relationship with their children. 2, they will say talk to boys. Then 3, they say talk to teachers. So then you are thinking, how do you get these 3 categories of people together to tell them the message from the girls that we need protection from you? All they want is an environment that is safe and conducive for them to live. That is the home. For them to learn the school and lead, which is among their peers. And they find it difficult to do because we haven't created that. And like you said rightly, because we objectify them. Yes. As a society, we haven't raised the boy to be compassionate, to be in tune with their emotions. So we have what we call the empathy gap, where boys, and when they grow into men, do not really have that empathy towards girls and the issues they go through. That is why when the girl comes home and says, I've been bullied, the brother says, shut up, get over it. She considers that also another form of bullying. You know, and then when they come to tell us, oh, I've been bullied or I'm being harassed, we say, do you know what I went through in SS? We went through worse. This is your time, cry small. So we downplay the effect or the impact of what they are telling us. And because you already abuse them at home ourselves, that is another reason why we wouldn't see what they are talking about, the school experience, as grave as it is. And sometimes the parents can identify when these things are happening to their children because the kids have grown to a stage where they don't talk to parents about these things. And I want to share a few things that parents can use to identify when their girls have been abused.
Go ahead.
Those girls that are bubbly, and then the moment they go to senior high school, they start withdrawing. They start coiling in and they are no longer that outspoken. They are no longer bubbly. Start watching and asking questions. But not the question of, why are you no longer talking? Why are you not talking to Uncle A? Go and hug Uncle B. A girl shared a story where her own uncle keeps harassing her. So she decided to put a stop to it. And her way of stopping it is, I won't talk to you again. I won't hug you. I won't serve you water. If family shout goddess and you are there, I won't be there. And family is forcing her and now calling her disrespectful. And uncle is taking that ripe environment to create the impression that she's rude, she's truant, and family is supporting that and forcing her to apologize to her rapist because they don't know. And I'm saying that if all of a sudden that child that is always hugging uncle doesn't want to even see uncle, don't force her. Get into conversations and discover what's happening. If that child who is brilliant, all of a sudden the performance is coming down, don't shout and scream that you've joined bad gang. Start asking nice questions so they could have conversations, so they could open up and tell you. If that child that used to be very outspoken is now quiet, we need to know why. If that child that used to be strong all of a sudden cries over nothing, they become extra emotional. And then you are becoming too sensitive. As for you, little thing gets to you. Something bigger might have happened, and the little thing is triggering it. So we need to pay attention. So my plea is that they are looking for a safe environment. And I'm pleading with parents to create that at home. So that when something happens in school, they have a home to come to for protection. And then we are pleading with the education system. We need to train teachers a bit differently.
We'll come to that. We need to train teachers a bit differently. And you know the one Juliana talked about, the girls, right? Yeah, they just withdraw. They just withdraw from everything, social activities, and you can actually see this gloom around the child every time. There's a gloom around the child, and they become very timid. Why? Because nobody is listening. Nobody is even engaging them. There was this time that, again, I hosted, and I would do a lot of those shows, talking to, teenagers. It's like every time I have those conversations, like I am on cloud nine. So beautiful to learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them said that quite often when their academics are going down, parents just get angry, and I'm paying school fees, and you're not learning,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not focusing, and you're not doing this, and you're not doing, and you're not doing that. But quite often, they have a lot of things they are dealing with. And the moment you start by attacking their academics, you have shut the door. They can't tell you anything again, especially when you start by accusing them. They were here in the studio. She said, how about you asking? I noticed that you're not flying as high as you are. Is there a problem? Might you want to talk? Can we talk about it? Then probably they can. And sometimes they say, don't wait. This is from them.
Mm-hmm.
Do not wait until the results are in. Every once in a while, ask what's happening in school. Is there anything bothering you? Is there anything you'd like me to do? When they feel like you care, then they are able to open up. They also said they don't want parents to be preaching to them all the time. Sometimes the moment you approach your mother and say that, oh, mommy or daddy, there's this boy, hey, you have started doing boys, right? You have started. So whatever it is, they'll just keep to themselves and won't open up on it again. And again, when you ask them, almost every time you have conversations, you ask them, who do you talk to? They tell you they talk more to their friends. Those of them who have older siblings and are close to them will tell you they talk to their older siblings. Hardly their parents. Hardly their parents. And I am wondering just why. And learning from this report that the friends that they go to school to talk to are the same people who would turn around and abuse them and bully them, just makes the situation bizarre. Mm-hmm. And so you're laying it again at the doorstep of parents that we really, 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 really need to up our games. It's very important. It's not enough. Schools have reopened. You pack their bags, boarding school, everything they need, pack it, ship them to school, and that's the end of it. There's a parent who actually came when I was running my crèche. She came and said, your place, you don't vacate. Oh, that's nice, because we're not, it's a preschool, and you're thinking about parents, so we don't vacate. That's nice. And you say we can bring them as early as 6 a.m. and we can pick them by 6. Oh, this is just a good place to dump my child. I said, That was how I did not admit the child. You use the word dump because I was doing it from home. And I thought that I know what parents go through. So make it a bit more comfortable for them. So at 6 a.m., if you're leaving, you can bring the child. Sometimes, at the time when I was not working here, could go to the extent of bathing the children and dressing them. It was just like a nanny job I was doing. And I was very excited about it. I had one of the caregivers who was living, with me. When they are sick, the parents prefer to bring them than leave them with the nannies at home. Their medications, they will pack everything. And somebody sees it as a dumping ground. And she actually said that. I said, you won't dump your child, you take the child away. And that's what most of us end up doing because it comes across as safe. But this is not good. Doc, I knew the other day you spoke very passionately about training teachers differently and also about the teacher licensure, right? You spoke passionately about it. I'll come to you. Juliana mentioned train them differently. How differently should they be trained? And this teacher licensure, how does that play a good role in all of the conversations we are having? And again, Samuel, I will also come to you very soon to find out. So the teachers, though, I'm sure you know about some teachers who are doing some of these things. What do you suggest we do to them to be able to keep this? Again, when it comes to the teachers, those of you who are good, what are you people doing to expose and influence these ones who are creating the problems for us? Because we know them. And then we just keep quiet. So for those of you who are good and doing the right thing, so be thinking about it. What are we doing to expose them, and how are we influencing them to be able to do the right thing? Because trust me, the girl hasn't done anything wrong. They just want to go to school, learn, lead, and become somebody tomorrow. And we put all these impediments their way and yet expect them to come out well tomorrow. Somebody has decided that they would rather sleep around with other boys, get pregnant for other boys, than become a sex tool for my father-in-law, and my mother is doing nothing about it. Somebody will see this child and say, bad girl. Today you see her with this boy. Today, you don't know what she's running away from. And there are no welcoming arms out there to say that I know what you're running away from. Come and let me support you. No, everybody wants to do it at a price. But good taste brings good memories, and that is why taste matters. And Onga is the taste master. As taste masters, we give every meal that superior taste. A wide range of Onga flavors assures you of a superior taste and irresistible aroma. Why don't you get your Onga powders, the Stew 3 mix, which is a combination of ginger, onions, and garlic, our classic and chicken, and oh yes, for the Onga tablets, the shrimp, chicken, beef, and stew. We have a flavor for every meal. This is just what you need for an Ongalicious meal. And by the way, Ongalicious is the new delicious. Onga, Mama's helping hand. Ilili'i. It started with a promise. And now, 14 years later, Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, brings you Uncle Ibu's 50th original play. He said, she said, iconic 50th play. And the last time I heard Uncle Ibu speaking on the morning show, he was asking, out of those 50 plays, how many have you seen? Me, how many have I seen? Two married couples, each drowning in its own issues, discover that the survival of their marriages depends on their reaching out to each other. But will they find the peace of mind to save each other's marriage, and in the process save their own marriages? He said, she said, shows how our actions affect others in ways we cannot imagine. He said, she said, will show at the National Theatre on the 3rd, 4th, which is past. Those are last weekends, but you have today 10th and tomorrow 11th, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Tickets are going for 100 cedis, and you can get them on the Koba platform by dialing short code *365 *535# and follow the prompts. Physical tickets are also available at the usual outlets: Joy FM Front Desk, Shell Shops at Airport, East Legon, Tema Community 11, and Dansoman Total. Total Shops at Bachona and Hacho, and Frankie's at Osu. Special offers are available for corporates. For enquiries, you can call or order on 05055461010 or WhatsApp 05055463030 or email info@rovermanproductions.com or visit Roverman Productions pages on Facebook and Instagram. Sponsors: Gino Tomato Mix, Total Family Health Organization, GHQR by Gibbs, and A&E Laboratories. Join the celebration of Uncle Ibu's 50th original play. He said, she said. Buy your tickets now. Roverman Productions, be the difference. We will be right back.
Now available in sachets. Enjoy the goodness in tasty meals. This advert is FDA approved.